In downtown Seattle, there's a road that serves as a major bus corridor in the city. 3rd Avenue moves over 2,500 buses a day, carrying over 100,000 riders daily. This corridor is for only buses between Stewart Street and Yesler Way every day of the week between 6 a.m. and 7 p.m. By prioritizing transit, these buses weave through downtown quickly to allow for such impressive throughput of buses and riders. The King County Metro Bus Service has bus routes with wide coverage over the city of Seattle, and a good number of bus routes converge toward downtown. A city's public transit wouldn't be complete without a quality bus network. Buses fill in the gap for riders to reach popular local destinations or to less common destinations that are missed by rail service. Having access to road space is what makes buses so useful. They can basically reach anywhere that has a road. It's also a cost-effective way to provide broad transit service in cities since it uses existing right-of-ways to get around. But because buses run on the road, they're subject to traffic in addition to all of the stops that they have to serve. It slows down service during peak traffic hours, so buses tend to have a reputation of being late or having inconsistent service. There are a number of ways that transit agencies can minimize delays and improve service. It can be running more frequent service, adding or altering bus routes, adding bus lanes, running bus rapid transit routes, giving buses signal priority at intersections, and of course having a transit-only corridor. All these different techniques are applied in areas throughout the city, but the success and usefulness of these tactics come in varying degrees. Bus lanes can be useful unless they're backed up from people using it as a right turn lane, and having more frequent buses is great, until they're all bunched up right next to each other from traffic congestion. The effectiveness of bus service improvements are usually dependent on how much other vehicles on the road impact service. This makes transit-only corridors seem promising because they remove private vehicles from the equation. They can also be fast and cheap to implement, since turning a corridor to be bus-only requires little infrastructure change. So what makes a good candidate for a transit-only corridor? Let's look at 3rd Avenue to get some ideas. First, it has to have multiple bus routes running through it. This seems obvious. You need to have a fair number of buses running along the road to justify making it transit only. So where are the places with all the buses at? If it's a place where a lot of people want to go, it creates demand for different ways to get there, ranging from rail, bikes, scooters, and of course buses. Downtown Seattle is one of those places, but so are the different urban villages in the city. So our second criteria is that the place has got to be poppin', or at least a lot of people need to go there, whether it's for work, leisure, or home. Another way to put it is that there's got to be some kind of density. But what about cars? They need alternatives too, right? The third criteria is that there should be parallel alternative routes. This shouldn't be hard because literally roads are everywhere. Like for 3rd Ave, there's 2nd Ave, and 4th Ave, and 1st Ave, and 5th Ave, and Western Ave, and 6th Ave. So now we have our basic criteria. Now let's look at some places that could be promising candidates that fit the bill. The International District is one of the most transit-rich neighborhoods in Seattle, featuring commuter rail, light rail, streetcar, and buses. South Jackson Street between 4th Ave and 5th Ave is right in the middle of it all. Like 12 different bus routes pass by the area, all in close proximity to rail transit too. Lots of destinations and mixed use are in the International District. Cars have alternative east-west routes on Yesler Way or Dearborn Street. It checks off all the boxes here. Over in Queen Anne, right by the greasy-smelling Dick's, Queen Anne Avenue North between Mercer Street and Republican has 7 bus routes that pull through this block. The buses pass right by this cool movie theater and go through a neighborhood of mixed-use mid-rises, as well as being a couple blocks away from this arena and Seattle Center. Motorists have 1st Avenue to take as an alternative route, so that means this street makes it in as our second candidate. Lower Queen Anne is one of the densest neighborhoods in the city that is not served by light rail, so improving bus service here is going to be much needed while Sound Transit deliberates on the station placements for the 100th time this year. Now let's look at something that already kinda exists. Over in the University District, the street right outside the Link station is basically bus only. On Northeast 43rd Street, there's only a bus lane and a protected bike lane. 5 different bus routes stop here, and they bring people near the commercial corridor of University Way and the College of the University of Washington. Motorists have 45th Street and 42nd Street as alternative routes. This portion of the street is already bus-only, so it can be used as the blueprint for future bus-only corridors. This street features outdoor dining, bike lanes, and green space. These streets that I highlighted are in transit-rich areas where multiple candidates exist that fit within the criteria. Many of the surrounding blocks have roads with similar characteristics that can also make good transit-only corridors. These changes are kinda small at first, but over time, these bus corridors can be redesigned to include additional public spaces for pedestrians and bikes. Plans to expand these corridors across the city can be the next step to building a robust and reliable bus network to create a less car-dependent future.
The Indians who welcome the pilgrims, and to the buffaloes who once ruled the plain. Like the vultures circling beneath the dark clouds, looking for the rain, looking for the rain. Just like the cities that stagger on the coastline, in a nation that just can't stand much more. Like the forest buried beneath the highway, never had a chance to grow, never had a chance to grow. And now it's winter, winter in America. Yes, and all of the healers have been killed or sent away. Yeah, but the people know it's winter. Winter in America, and ain't nobody fighting, 'cause nobody knows what to say. Save your soul.